Hello and welcome to the Valve Bounce. Formula One is back and it's time to preview this weekend and give our predictions for the Canadian Grand Prix. It is episode 28. Damo, welcome.
G'day, Steve. Wow, we're already at the Canadian Grand Prix. I cannot believe it.
Is this round 10? This is insane.
Yeah, it is flying along. I think officially it might be even more than the V8. So they're just at round 5. So how about
that? Yes, well, we've already done our recap of the V8s, Damo. Come on.
Yep. All right. Just makes me sad, but then happy because Canada's always a pretty good race. It's always exciting.
We'll get into the weather soon, but like a few years gone by, it's been a bit wet, so could be interesting. See what it is this year, eh?
It is.
Yes. So, what's been going on, mate? What's news with you?
What's news? Well, not much. I guess we got through the V8s, and I've been listening to a lot of the podcasts and to all the news outlets. I've been trying to pick what's going to happen. Got a little bit worried that maybe the C6 tire might have an impact, and maybe Norris is going to make a resurgence.
Yep.
We'll see how we go. But I've just been trying to digest as much as possible in the last few minutes before recording. That's how I roll.
Yes, look, I've listened to a few pods. I've seen a few things, and it's really hard to. Well, it's not hard to predict, but it's difficult to predict, like just what's going to unfold. But we got a few changes this weekend back to those really, really soft, shitty tires that you love, the C6. So
I don't know. They didn't really they weren't that much faster for being a softer tire, but it was just more. I just hope the feel of the car isn't what made Lando great in Monaco. As you remembered correctly, we did use them in Imola, and
we did.
Oscar did just fine there. So
we did.
Yeah, we'll see how we go.
We will. Look, it'll be an interesting weekend, I think. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to the start times, and we'll touch on that soon. But maybe we should just talk about the wash up of the last round in Spain between Max and George. You got any takes on that, mate? Other than you in agreement with the penalty points and stuff?
Yeah. I think we put out a little extra piece on that just after we saw the onboard. So I kind of softened a little bit. I think the penalty points are as they should be. I think some of the stuff that's been, that's been in these podcasts and interviews and stuff has been interesting to listen because, listening to some of the British bias stuff, it's, some were a lot harsher and feeling like it was pretty good. Some were a bit softer. They were like, we don't want to see Max lose that, that fighting, racing ability because that's what makes him great. But maybe the red mist needs to calm down a little bit. And it's like, he hasn't had too many red mist moments. So I'm willing to give him at least a bit of a doubt. It was just a bit of just lost the plot for a little bit. And I think everything should be fine. And everyone play on. George, stop whinging. Max, get back to fighting. But I guess the question I'm going to ask you is penalty points for Max.
Yes.
How's he going to race, do you think?
I'm not even worried about the race, mate. He runs over the pit lane line, and that's a penalty point.
Very true. Yeah, it could be anything. Yeah,
it could be anything. Look, how do I feel about it? Well, I don't know. He got that penalty point back in when did he block Russell? That wasn't even like a real block, and it didn't really impact him at all.
Yeah, it was a rubbish one. Yeah,
it was a rubbish one. He got a penalty point for that. I get it. If he does do, I kind of feel like the penalty points should be things that you do really bad, right? You get penalty points for running into someone like George Russell, or that type of thing. Not so much for, look at you, bad boy, you crossed the line. It just seems a little, to me.
Well, it does raise the question of you get 1 point for just speeding a little bit past the line, and then you get a few extra points when you run into someone. It's just like the balance, and I guess that if you think about things that are just in the world. It doesn't kind of feel very balanced.
No.
Other people have also been talking about why the points have to carry on for 3 years.
Yeah.
And
It's just a license. Like, it's just like a license you get booked for speeding.
And it does stop that.
3
If
years.
you make it like stick to just 1 year, it just saves any of those perhaps teammates that aren't in championship fights, maybe just torpedoing someone, to make their guy win. And if they're all clear the decks at the end of the year and reset, people can actually take real calculated risks on the tail end of the year. So I think having them lag across multiple years is a good idea. And I think it's just the way it is. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he attacks this weekend. Typically, at a guess, Max never gives a shit about any of that and just goes and does what he has to do.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him back towards the front again. And he's not going to give room. Like that's just how Max races. If it gets him a ban, well, his literal response will be, "Well, I wasn't in the fight anyway." So, exactly where his brain's going to be with this. So, anyway, that's good. It adds to the drama of the sport, and we get to chat about it.
I think that's the main thing, is that it has probably been the main topic that's kept the conversation going, even though it's only been 2 weeks. But just that extra. We've had 3 weeks back to back, and everyone's still talking about it now. So interesting to see.
So do you think he's going to regroup and come back strong?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think Max holds any punches, as I said, and I think as long as the car's there, he's going to be in the mix. I sort of get the feeling that maybe this year, I think it's not going to be quite as good. The car's not going to be quite as good there, but this year has been such a basically a lottery. People, Ferrari thought they were going to be crap at certain circuits and end up getting podiums and stuff. So,
Sauber could be on the podium this weekend.
Oh, imagine that! Imagine Hulk getting.
Imagine Hulk getting a podium in that
podium.
Car.
That'd be amazing.
It would. I'd actually, you know what? I'd happily take that. That'd be good to see.
All right. I expect to see him in your predictions. All right.
Oh yeah, no worries. I'll change them right now. So the other news, and there's a lot of talk, and there's been a lot of talk for a little while, is that Hadjar might replace Yuki at the end of the year. I have many thoughts on this. I don't think it's.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Do it. David's just waving at me. No, I agree. I'd avoid it at all costs. It's kind of like career suicide. But they just keep popping up, and now Horner's going on about Hadjar's been great.
Yeah. All the language has been from Red Bull, etc. They're all now putting that conversation in. They're obviously, there's we'll touch a bit more on Aravid, who's having to kind of step up or excel. They had to accelerate his super license, because if Max gets a ban, what do they do? Well,
yes, well that is it, isn't it? That's the reason they've done it. But I also think that it might put Lawson in a bit of strife too, just quietly.
Yeah, I mean, if we just touch on that quickly, let's hope he can have a really solid, Canadian Grand Prix, because it does feel like it's on the precipice of another bad round, and
you're out.
Yeah, Lindblad might be in, so
it's bloody. It's just insane. You could say the same for Colapinto, right? If he has another bad round, do they switch him back?
Colapinto. If he has another bad round, no. I mean, everybody knows he's in there for the money, so it's not going to happen until he sees out his 5 or 6 race agreement that he had. So, but he really needs a strong weekend to kind of squash a lot of the talk that's happening at the moment, because he hasn't quite performed the way he should.
Yeah, no, that's true. He hasn't. So we'll see what young Flavio will do. And apparently, Damo, some great news.
Oh, yes.
I have heard that it is a highly possible that Stroll has recovered from his wanker's cramp.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. That wanker, no. I did hear that he is back. Obviously, his home Grand Prix, he would be trying to do everything he can. I kind of hope that if he goes out and practice 1 or 2 and he's really having issues, that he doesn't try and hang on and then just again destroy the opportunity for someone else to jump in that car. But in any case, I hope he does hang on, because what would happen if he does bail? Someone misses out on Le Mans. That's what happens.
That is true, and that's a big race to miss out on. You'd never want to see that. But at the end of the day, also, if he has had the surgery like he apparently has, I don't know. I feel like if he comes back this fast, I feel like it's a bit of a bullshit story.
Ooh, calling it bullshit called.
Yeah. I just don't see if your wrist is causing that much drama. I know medicine is great these days. I'm not lying. I've had 3 knee reconstructions. I know how good it can be, but to recover that quickly and drive an F1 car, I don't know.
Especially at Canada, where you have to use the curbs and bounce off things. So it's not going to be easy.
Imagine if he goes in at the Wall of Champions. I mean, that's just a disgrace.
He couldn't go in there. That would be a disgrace regardless.
It'd be a lie.
I know. Tell me about it. And
that's so good.
And I guess, while we'll stay on this part, is that the weather's looking favourable for Mercedes.
It is.
What do you reckon their chances are?
I think we'll see them. I think they'll make a resurgence, because we know they are very, very weather dependent. So I expect George and even Antonelli to be a bit better. My question is also, how reliable is that car, and why is it proving unreliable? Because that's an odd thing to me, to have 2 engines let go within 3 races on the lead up to this weekend. So I don't know. Cooler conditions will certainly help that, I think.
Yeah. It hasn't really been picked up on. I didn't really notice it. We obviously saw it, and he's Antonelli's out, etc. But it hasn't really pieced together for some reason. It's just been kept under the radar until a few people were talking about it this week in the lead up of what is happening with the engine. I'm thinking, why haven't they been asking that question after the last race weekend?
It is odd, especially if you add Alonso's Monaco retirement to that mix. That's also a Merc power plant. So it is a bit worrying. I mean, you think the McLarens are powered by it, but maybe, touch wood, that their cooling system and their packaging is superior to the others, and that it keeps everything cool, like those rear tires.
Ooh, yes, indeed. Speaking of cool, some Aussie mullet has been nominated potentially to pick up a seat in the new team joining the grid next year, Cadillac.
Cadillac. Yeah, he's put his name in the ring, hasn't he? He certainly just said, "Oh, you know what? I'd be perfect for this."
He would.
He would. He'd fit right in, and it'll be a great marketing ploy by Cadillac. They're not going to be competitive out the gate, so literally just get somebody in to really market the brand and build from there. I mean, he's got plenty of experience to help guide the car in the right way.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how real it is when they saw Bottas talking to the people at the FIA at the last race meet in Barcelona, and he was querying about if he returns to Formula One, he's still got an unserved 5-spot penalty to serve. So maybe that might go against him in the old resume of the job interview.
Nah, they're going to be. Look, I am not expecting a team to come in and be up here, right? I would fully expect them to be sort of down the back. So I don't think it's going to matter to them too much. I do think he'd be a great get for them. So hopefully that happens. The only thing that will make it better is if Daniel Ricciardo decided that he wanted to come out of retirement and play.
Imagine that. 1.5 Aussies in the Cadillac team. That'd be awesome.
Wicked. The all-American Australian lineup.
Yes, indeed. I guess that also takes us into, and they have announced the calendar for next year.
Yeah, I'm going to actually have to look at my screen.
You have to look at the screen. Yeah, the calendar. So it's popped up, and probably there's only 2 real things that are of note. One of which is there are 2 Spanish flags there. So we're going to Barcelona, and then what is that, like 6-7 races later, we're back in Spain again for Madrid, which was interesting in place of Imola.
It does have an asterisk next to it. So I'm guessing that's based upon whether it's finished or not. But they're obviously expecting it to be. Going to Spain twice and leaving Imola. I don't know if I feel overly happy about that.
That is a shame, an absolute crying shame. Because I love that track. I love the Imola track. Just it's always so picturesque. You get to Europe and it's beautiful.
Yeah, and right at the time when we shrink the bloody cars, they go away from it. Like,
true.
On.
It could be a better racetrack, because of it.
Exactly.
And then,
what else we got there? No, you're right.
Well, it was just all really just the potential clash there of the Canadian Grand Prix being round 7.
May 22 and 24. What happens on that about that time every year, Damo?
Bricks, something.
Bricks,
what,
big
Brickyard?
The
Indy 500.
What? How can you clash with that?
Well, I don't think you can really. I mean, I don't know. It's definitely a competitive market, right? And you're going up against basically the biggest event really in motorsport in America. There's obviously NASCAR Daytona.
Yeah.
F1 has produced really big crowds and a big following, but not sure it's going to quite eclipse the Indy 500. So a lot of those Americans will probably be watching on repeat or on delay, would be my guess, depending on the timing of the 2.
I'd agree with that. Really, if I had the choice, here in Australia, we get screwed, right? So Foxtel have the rights for Indy over in America, but over here in Oz, we get booted to Stan when everyone's on Fox. So for Australians, it's probably not going to make much of a difference, but for those guys, I think that's a big fuck up. Just quietly.
Yeah. We're going to need, I don't subscribe to Stan, but you'd need 2 screens in Australia if the timing works out like that. So
exactly right.
Yeah.
And I'd have to get up really early, and that's also not going to happen.
Okay.
Well, should we shift gears into what we can expect weather-wise and what the track schedule looks like, Damo? So we sort of touched on the weather. We are 20 degrees, 23 and 23 respectively, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, full of sunshine and pissing down on Monday. So it is still around the corner. Could change.
Yeah, timing could be tricky. Yep.
It definitely could be, just like me at Calder this weekend. But we've also, for the track, we've got 2 practice sessions. It's not a sprint round. 2 practice sessions on the Friday. We've got 1 on the Saturday. Qualifying, of course, on the Saturday. And then we have a 77 lap race on Sunday. morning for us.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, Monday morning for us.
Monday morning, 4 a.m. it is. And qualifying is a little better if we want to get up a little bit earlier at 6 a.m. to 7. So that's manageable, but an early start. I mean, you'll probably be up anyway, but
close.
Yeah. So it's an interesting one. And I think last year we had Verstappen took out the win.
Yep, he did.
I mean, Norris and Russell got
that was
third.
the podium. Yep.
And Oscar had some trouble, so
he ended up finishing 5th, I think.
Yeah. He was strong and just had a few. Obviously, there was a few issues over the course of that weekend that just didn't gel for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess maybe now let's. We can use the new.
Wait, we can use the new. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it.
You got you. No, I'll do it. You do it.
I'll do it. You do it. You do it. You do it. There you go. Oh. Welcome to the predictions, everybody.
Welcome to the predictions. We're never right, but maybe sometimes.
What we should do next week, Davo, is actually send this out beforehand with what people are predicting, and maybe we can select one from the crowd that we can add to the mix if they respond.
If they respond, that sounds good. All righty. Well, I'm going to.
You're going to kick this off.
This one, and we're going to have a look.
No, just slowly bits of just going to throw it in there. These are our predictions, people.
Everybody just wants to see who we've predicted, like the millions. So, I guess interesting. I did, as I mentioned, was a bit worried about the whole tyre situation. I thought maybe Norris might end up a little bit up ahead of Piastri, but I just decided to change my mind. Piastri's okay. I'll back him in. And got him for a pole and for the winner. I still think Norris is going to have a strong outing, so I've got him in second. And let's bank on the Mercs being fast. That's my third.
That's your theory. I like it. Look, I saw what you were doing, and I thought I'd actually mix it up a little bit. So I've said that Max is going to come out strong. He's going to get the pole position. He does love this track. He has an extremely strong record here. So I said, Max, all right, mate, you can take the pole position. But then that's where that ends.
Yeah.
No more. So our boy, Oscar Piastri, P1, he'll get it done. No stress at all. That kid's cool, calm, and collected. He is in control of this championship. No problems at all there. Russell, I think, will come in P2. I said before that they will be strong, but I just have that feeling that Russell's going to have a good weekend. So P2 for Russell, and Max will drop back to P3 after having a little clash with Lando, and Lando will be out of the race. What?
Oh, Jesus, spicy.
And then Max gets a
penalty and he's out. Oh my gosh.
Is that extra bonus points if that comes true?
I'll give it to you if that comes true. That'll be worth it. The amount of ducks that have to be lined up in a row to get that right is impressive.
If it happens, I'll be laughing.
Verstappen is the unknown, right? He's always strong, could always be up there, and I probably wanted to put him in, but I just thought, well, let's just keep it interesting. Let's see how we go with Russell. Let's put him in there and give him a shot, and hopefully I jinx him and he doesn't perform, in any way, shape, or form better than third. Yeah.
Well, as long as Norris falls back, I'm pretty comfortable.
Nice.
Nothing against Norris. I really should stop hating on Norris. I actually don't. I sound like I hate him. I don't actually hate him.
You do.
I do not. Come on. I do not. But I'm just over the British media crap. That's all. I'm still over it. Even not even Nico Rosberg trying to balance it up in the last run in Spain could help me.
Nah. Not even that. And I'll just clarify. I wasn't saying you do hate him. I'm saying you do sound like you hate him. Okay?
Oh yeah. Oh, I know 100%. But I don't. You're a good man, Lando. Good man.
You're a good man. Yes.
Just not
I know. Much.
Oh well.
It was very, very interesting. And I guess this whole Canadian Grand Prix, that is where's the next one? Oh yes, we've got a couple of weeks before we then hit Austria. So nothing too, we don't have back to back again for a little bit. So the teams have got some time to relax in between Canada and then moving to Austria. But it'll be interesting to see this weekend. I think I say this every week, so maybe I should just shut up. Oscar can get that little bit, take that win, and just really, is it going to be the difference? Start crushing Norris a little bit. It sort of feels like Max is never written off, but in terms of what publicly, he's like, oh, I'm out, I can't do anything. But he never gives up. But yeah, it really has the opportunity for Oscar to cement, to say, I am the leader now. I am the boss.
I sent you that little meme the other.
Oh, that was very funny.
That was very funny. But no, look, at the end of the day, Oscar's demeanor is, we say it every week, and everyone also says it every week, where he's just so cool, calm, and collected. It is a hell of a challenge to overcome that when you're not wired that way, and when he's just executing week after week. Doesn't mean shit can't go wrong. We know it can, but right now, if it continues on this trajectory, I agree with you. You start to think, well, it's hard to see Lando being able to do anything unless he does something silly. Yeah, I don't know if he's got it in him to do something too silly. So.
Yeah, I think he's too cautious. He wants to make sure he's still in the hunt, even if he's slowly slipping away. But there will be that time where the gap will start to appear, and I mean, in either direction, where that red mist could hit, and it could then be that friction point for the teammates. So, every race that we get further in, deeper into the season, that feels like it could be closer.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I don't think we're going to get this. Everyone's like, oh, we want to see them go wheel to wheel. I don't think we're going to get that. Not unless there's a tire offset.
Yeah.
Honestly, because the cars and the guys are close.
Yeah.
So whoever's leading is barring a poor pit stop or things of that nature, it's unlikely you're going to get an actual toe to toe other than turn one. And at turn one, I'd back Oscar every day.
Well, that little complex, that turn one complex, it will be interesting depending on where they qualify, because you've obviously got the little kink, and then you've got this left and right. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle it. Because there's definitely always a bit of a recipe, because it's a long right-hander, and then your next turn is a right and then a left. So people could be hung out to dry. So everybody be sensible.
I'm looking forward to it, mate. And I suppose we should probably finish this off and say good luck, everybody, for the weekend, and watch the Canadian Grand Prix. Please talk to us on the socials, on the Valve Bounce. We are on X. We are on YouTube, obviously. We are back on the actual normal pods because I am uploading them now.
Audio!
So get onto Spotify and Apple. What is it now? I don't know. Apple Podcast now. And listen in that way if you don't want to watch or look at our stupid faces. Yeah. And like always, thank you for tuning in. Click the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you to review the Canadian Grand Prix.
See ya.